Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where entrepreneurs and professionals publish to grow their businesses and to leave a legacy. We're doing a series of business spotlights on remarkable people, places, and things, businesses and professionals across the country and even in your town. Joining me on this segment is author, educator, writer, and speaker Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Mary Ellen, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you, Mark, so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Mary Ellen, tell us a little bit about your work and the type of people that you serve.
Well, I got started in this after coming through my own diagnosis of both epilepsy and multiple sclerosis and learning how to heal myself through the power of my mind and what I eat and what I don't eat and all those good things. And so I first wrote a book, Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire. And then I wrote Truth of the Day and started that. And then people started coming to me and say, well, could I come to you for some, not really counseling, but some education? So I started taking on, I am a teacher. I taught middle school for 15 years. And so I thought, okay, and my agreement with my clients is that I charge $50 an hour. And if you don't learn anything, then don't pay me. It's real simple. That way, if they don't learn anything, don't pay me. I've had people pay me double and triple because I want people to wake up. That is my mission in this world. I want everybody to wake up to what they're doing instead of always pointing the finger at somebody else and saying, well, no, you made me do that. No, they didn't do anything to you that you didn't choose to do on some level. Why did you make that choice? And what do you still have to learn from making that choice?
Is there a common challenge that your clients face, or what are some of the more common challenges that you hear?
Well, I think everybody, especially right now, is just stuck in fear. Everything, our societal teachings are so incorrect. We teach worry, we teach anxiety, we teach stress. If you're a good mother, you should worry about your kids. Well, if you were a good mother, why should you worry about your kids? You brought them up right. And they're stuck in worry and fear, and their relationships aren't going right. And their relationships aren't going right because they haven't learned to love themselves. And you can't love anyone else until you love yourself, because that relationship is a mirror for you. So, what do you still have to learn about yourself before you can then give love to someone else? I mean, I teach people that we can only come from two places, love or fear. And if you're coming from fear, it's all negative, any of the fear base. From love, you're coming from an unconditional love of no judgments, no motives, no expectations. You're just being there to be there. It's an interesting philosophy. It's done a lot for me, and it does tend to wake people up, which is what I'm trying to do.
Before people come to find help with you, what are some of the common mistakes that you see people make that kind of keep them stuck in this trap?
Well, I have a lot of people, even though somebody leaves them or has an affair on them or whatever, they go, I want to make my family work. I want to make my marriage work. Well, I understand that's all well and good. And why do you think so little of yourself that you're not going to have faith enough in God or in the universe to know that they're going to send you somebody even better when you learn that? And that, where they stay stuck in, oh, I have this fear of, that when my kids, I used to hear a fear when I was teaching middle school, but well, I know when my kids get to middle school, they're going to start drinking and all that kind of stuff. Well, any fear you have has to be outplayed. Now, that goes back to biblical references. So you have to drop those fears that you carry around with you, because all you're doing is setting them up to happen. And why would you want that to happen in your life?
We're taping in the midst of a pandemic here in the
Yeah.
country. I'd imagine because it affects businesses and people differently all across the country. Have you seen an increase in your business due to the stress levels people are facing today, or are the questions people asking different?
Well, I've seen a tremendous increase in my business, just because people want to know what to do, what to do, what to do. And I tell them, listen to the news if you have to listen to the news. Get the education you need for yourself and your family. Then turn that news off, because we're bombarded with so much negativity on the news, and they're listening to it 24/7, 365. And you get negative comment after negative comment, and then they get all turmoil in themselves, and then they start yelling at their spouse or their kids, because you're never upset for the reason you think. So you take that turmoil that you just listened to on the TV about, you might not have any money next year, this might happen or that might happen, and then you take that, you don't realize that you're taking that turmoil out on somebody else to protect yourself. So I try to get them to calm down and look honestly at themselves. And what you focus on expands, what you think about happens. Truly focus on what you want in your life as if it already is that way.
That's sage advice. Mary Ellen, tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to begin helping others as an author, educator, writer, and a speaker.
Well, when I was 6, I was diagnosed with epilepsy, and I was always told by my family that I wasn't wanted, I was a mistake, and all that. So you grow up with a really low self-esteem, no matter what you look like. My self-esteem was still really low. And then in 1986, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And I thought, well, okay, I went through the epilepsy, I can handle this too. And my life just kind of snowballed from one spot to another, where I had to learn to heal myself, because nobody else was going to help me. I mean, I did not have a family that was like a regular family where they come and help you and go, oh, we'll help you with this or that. My family was quite dysfunctional, put it that way. And then my first husband left, and then I was diagnosed with MS. So I was like, well, I better get my act together. I mean, I'd like to get married again, but if you don't like somebody and you have MS and epilepsy, all you have to do is tell them, they turn the car around, take you home. so, so I met Pete, and we've been married 22 years now. And I told him gradually, and he was like, well, is there anything else you have to tell me? And then I wrote Healing Words, because I heard these vignettes from God. I truly heard these, and I kept telling him, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And he's like, well, why do you think I put you through everything in your life? And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I wrote Healing Words, and the first edition came out in 2011. The second edition is out now. And then in order to promote Healing Words, I started writing the truths of the day. They're now all over the internet and all over, actually being broadcast all over the world, because I wanted people to understand what I was trying to do. Because a truth, people get truth all mixed up. A truth does not change. A truth is not a fact. A fact can be a truth, but not all truths are factual. So if you're coming from a truth standpoint, you have to look at yourself truthfully and say, okay, I do this right, I do this wrong. I got to work on this part of myself. So I try to get people to understand what they need to learn, because I've lived through it, because I've finally reached a place where I have the opportunity. And since I was a teacher for 15 years and I loved doing it, and I think I was a good teacher, I just have a natural ability to teach and to educate and to promote. So, and a lot of my clients, they can't afford to pay because they're going through divorces. I say, okay, pay me when you can or whatever. Or sometimes they'll do work around the house for me. God pays in different ways. So I don't worry about that. I love to do this. I love to reach out and help people. I truly love to see somebody's light bulb go on and go, oh my gosh, you just said what I needed to hear, because I've been there before, been there, done that. And I just want to do it for somebody else.
Mary Ellen, for my audience out there who resonate with your message and would certainly like to connect, maybe get a copy of some of your work, how do they find you and connect with you?
Well, the best way is through my website, which is really simple. It's, of course, www.askmaryellen.com. It has all my links there to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. I don't use Ciganovich because it's a little hard to spell. So I guess if you Google Ask Mary Ellen, you will find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. I do a Miracles with Mary Ellen show every Monday, Facebook Live and Instagram Live, and then I post it all over. And it's just kind of snowballing into other areas, and I just really love that.
This has been absolutely terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing with my audience today, Mary Ellen. I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Oh, thank you. I so appreciate, Mark, you having me on the show, and I apologize for the little glitch we had in the beginning.
Not a problem. It's technology, so we're always learning. I
I know.
appreciate that. This segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where entrepreneurs and professionals publish to promote their businesses, grow their businesses, and leave a legacy. That's all for now. Join me for my next expert spotlight. I'm Mark Imperial.